Oh, it's Tim with TAH Farm, and we're going to do a quick video this evening after work. We're going to put those K&M steps on this 1086. Should be pretty easy. All right, as you can see, they're on. Project's not quite done yet, and it's 7 days later. I'm going to explain. Here's the instructions I had to go by. The instructions are well laid out. They're good instructions, good picture of how it all goes together. One problem I have with this, it says you use original bolts. Well, when you're taking something out that's 20 years old, you're going to put new bolts in. Just include a couple bolts. You're 4 bolts shy of having everything. Let me show you this first. This is the old ones I took off. You can have them off in about 5 minutes. You're going to need a 9/16 impact to get these bolts off. They thread into the frame. You're going to need a 9/16 wrench to back the bolt up, and an impact to take the nuts off. That's quick, slam, done. And then you can't get an impact this way, so you're going to have to use a ratchet with an extension and a 9/16 socket to get these two off here. Boom, it's off, out of your way. I don't know if you saw all that. 9/16 on here, it's threaded here, so you don't have to back anything up. You're kind of working over the plate. It's kind of like this in the cab, so you can't really get to this real easy, but not bad. Take them out. You can have that off in 5 minutes. Took me 10 because I had to go get the extension. So anyway, that comes off real quick and easy. The whole reason I'm doing this project is last spring I slipped when I hit the corner of that step coming out, and I didn't have the handrail, so I ended up standing on the ground, but elbow into the cleats, and yeah, kind of hurt my shoulder. So anyway, I was going to get videos I did this, but it came to a quick stop because this bracket's not made correctly. I did talk to the manufacturer. I called the number and talked to them. Had to go 3 attempts to get to somebody. Anyway, talked to a sales guy. He wanted pictures of it. I sent him pictures, and he was forwarding me to the engineer to talk to him. It's a week later. They've never called me back. I did get a response back from the sales guy that said appreciated me commenting to him, and they're going to look into it. Still haven't heard back. But here's the situation. There's 2 underneath here. There's 2 battery brackets that hold this battery case so it doesn't wiggle back and forth. Well, this side fits fine, this side does not. The hole for this is right here, and this bracket's right here. This bracket needs to be a 1/2 inch further this way. So what K&M needs to do is this bracket, when they cut that piece before they bend it, because this is just a bend right here, this needs to be a 1/2 inch longer, so that pushes this bend over a 1/2 inch, which pushes this over here, thus giving you room, and I don't have to go spend 10 minutes, 15 minutes cutting this out, well, close to a half hour. By the time I cut this out, measure it and everything, and then get it painted and then hang it up. Here in Ohio, this time of year, you're talking 3 or 4 days for that to dry with this beautiful, wonderful paint that the EPA lets us use today. That's a whole nother beef I have. But anyway, so yeah, you got to cut this. Hopefully you can see what I did there. Cut that little bracket because it went clear to this edge. This was just a plain piece of metal angle iron cut, but I had to trim that off so it would fit. So now you got raw metal, you got to paint it. So we're going to put that on today. It's a week later, but these 2 screws, bolts come with it, nuts on the back side, no biggie. And if somebody comments and says, well, that goes between this and the frame. Well, I tried that. Two problems. One, the two bolts up here, this far one won't line up. It's too far twisted. You can't get that bolt in. And the next problem, get the light up here, is you can see how close that is to them brackets. There's not enough room between the bracket and that to get that to fit. So you can see that hole lines up with their frame and everything. So it's just a matter of that bracket right here is in the wrong place. So anyway, once I got that lined up, I knew I was gonna have to cut that. We went ahead, slid this in here, bolted that up. These bolts come with it. Let me talk about this. These two bolts over here do not come with it. So I went to the barn, got me 2 new bolts, put 2 new bolts in there because they were just short. This is a little thicker material than the other, and I couldn't get it to grab. So I had to replace those out of my stock, and then these 2 down here, I'm replacing those out of my stock. For Pete's sakes, for what you pay for this, include the bolts. Anyway, bolted this up, kind of slid it so there's more room over here for the tire. Then I slid this bottom step on here. Next step was the handrail. That went pretty good. They give you the hardware here. Bolt that up, and then you're gonna need a 5/16 drill bit. Wherever this lines up, drill your 2 holes. You got a bolt and a nut on the back side. They give you that hardware. The only other complaint I have about this thing, other than it's not engineered right, is their powder coating is horrible. Let me show you. It's right here where you're going to be grabbing onto this. I don't know what it is, but it's all bubbled up right there and just horrible. So I'm probably going to have to take some sandpaper, work that down, and then spray that so it don't rust. But come on, people. COVID's over. Let's get back to quality control. I don't know if that's the case. It just seems like today you buy stuff and it's not the quality it was before 19. It just seems like people don't want to work. And I'm not saying that's the case here, but I'm a little disappointed in the engineering. I think it should have been better than that for as many as he's sold. I can't believe I'm the only person that's had that problem. If so, well, I don't know what to say about that. But I'm one that does it right, and I put it together right, and I'm not going to try to retap something over here to get a bolt to line up if that's how it's supposed to be. Who knows? I haven't been able to talk with them. They've not called me back. Maybe that piece is supposed to be longer, and it's supposed to have the room to do that, and this one piece, maybe they got a run of 20 of these they built, that this isn't going to fit right. I don't know. But unless they change that, that's a step you're going to have to do to get that to fit. So, all right, I'm going to tag this on the end of the video. That bracket, there's barely enough room where my finger is here to slide that bracket in here to go and hold this together, let alone slide the washer in there, and then there's no way to get the nut started because it sticks through about right here, which is this bracket right here is in the way. So we're going to do this just with the one bracket. We'll see how it goes. If there's problems, I'll have to come in here and cut a chunk out of that so we can put the nut and the bolt on there and put it back together. But yeah, the struggles continue on these poorly engineered K&M steps. Overall, I think it's a great product. I think it's going to do what it's supposed to do. It's these nicer steps. It's easier to get your foot up there. It's not as high. It's a wider step. You know, I love the idea and the concept behind the whole thing. You just fell short one spot. So that's what it takes to put these K&M steps on an International 1086. This is a 1980 1086 cab and everything. So anyway, there you go. Hope you enjoyed this video on how to do these. Wish I didn't have to have that whole big problem. This video would be a lot shorter, and it'd have been a better video step by step because I wouldn't have been so frustrated. But anyway, there you go. That's my experience with these K&M steps.